That's just what we have been talking about. Should incumbents be a worried lot now?
Incumbents are definitely a worried lot, because even those who've navigated the nomination papers, the nomination process, have to wait for August 8th to know the final verdict of the people. Like I said earlier, the nomination process had some gaps, and some of them may have been able to maneuver and somehow been able to triumph at this stage.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the IEBC process, which is a lot more stringent and will be watched a lot more closely than the nomination process, some may find themselves actually embarrassed by what comes out. I mean, if you garnered, for example, 300,000 votes at the nomination stage, and then when you go to the final one, you can barely manage 16,000. I mean, it will be a show of what exactly you did at the nomination stage. So incumbents should be very concerned. And even those who are running on quote-unquote popular parties, but did not go through the primaries without scandal, should also be worried, because it's possible to clinch the party ticket, but when you go and maybe somebody runs as an independent on another party, you find that they decide, like the people you've been watching just now, they're talking about, if we don't have our candidate, then there's no Jubilee. That's talking about punishing the entire lineup. We're talking from the presidency all the way to the MCAs. Now, it has repercussions for more than just one person. So it's something the party also needs to find out. Are we willing to risk the presidential tally for the sake of this one candidate? So it's a balancing game, but it's a refreshing change to see Wananchi ready to stand up for what they believe in. And I hope all the best to them.
All right, let's take a look at what the other side are doing, which is NASA. Principals of the National Super Alliance are at the coast for a two-day retreat to deliberate on a campaign strategy and a program ahead of the August election. Focus by the five principals has turned to campaigns after the alliance last week named Raila Odinga as its flag bearer. The team will be joined at the retreat by the 12-man NASA coordinating team, co-chaired by Senators James Orengo and Johnston Muthama. Now, this particular event, of course, it's today that will be happening in Coast, and opinion has been varied, with different political leaders giving their opinion on the lineup and hopes to unseat President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy in the August 8th general election. Let's just listen in to some of the concerns before we get into the discussion.
Wale ambao tunapingana nao, kazi yao ni kuja kusema fulani atakalia hii kiti na wewe utakalia. Wanagawanya serikali kama mkate, kuonesha ya kwamba hawana hata agenda ya nchi. Agenda yao, haja yao ni viti, na wengine wanakubali kudanganywa ati watakuwa ma prime minister.
Wamemangamanga Kenya hii yote, wakafanya seminar, wakafanya retreat, wakafanya mkutano, wakafanya rally, ati ile wametuletea ni ile ya 2013. Sasa hii jameni ni utapeli wa aina gani?
Kenyans must examine the development scorecard of these leaders who are calling themselves leaders and who want to be elected or chosen. And we want affiliations and organizations based on scorecard of what people can actually do. We've had leaders in very high positions that they can give themselves, but there's nothing to show on the ground.
It will be a very difficult task to convince the Incumbent nation to play the second fiddle when they played that in 2013, and in 2017 they expected their son to be the flag bearer.
All right, those are some of the divergent views we've gotten on after the announcement of this particular NASA lineup. But what is this one thing they have to do for NASA to be accepted on the ground?
Is there a one thing really? they have a huge task ahead of them. First, starting with dealing with the fallout from the announcement. We start with what Honorable Nyanza said towards the end. The Kambas are feeling shortchanged on this one. And even in the run-up to the announcement, many of the NASA supporters who wanted Honorable Raila to take it, the moment they had Honorable Kalonzo has been named as the deputy, they broke out in jubilation, because their anticipation was that this time he would be asking them Kalonzo Tosha. And many of them did not want to be put in that situation. However, now that the announcement has been made, the cards have been laid on the table, now there's dealing with the fallout. There are those who are feeling, okay, We pushed for this because we were anticipating a presidential ticket. The others who are thinking the seats that have been given to Musalia and Wetangula and Ruto are non-existent seats. I mean, it's smoke and mirrors. And so the fallout is something that NASA has to handle from within, because, you know, you can have somebody who's with you, but because they're displeased, they become the saboteur from within. The other thing they need to manage is, with the length of time left between now and the elections, there's such little time. The others have had enough time to hit the ground running, and they've been campaigning as they're working. With them now, they have to start from afresh. You know, this is day one of the rest of the campaign. They have so much work to cut, they have so much ground to cover and catch up that I don't think they have sufficient time to do it. But given that they're experienced politicians, they can fall back on experience. They can fall back also on their own support base being consolidated and trying to get support from the other sides. The other problem that NASA has to deal with is what Honorable Nyanza is talking about is the Kamba nation, is the Luya nation, is the Luo nation. So you have to start looking, okay, fine, you have these numbers, but you're looking to govern Kenya. How are they making inroads into the other communities? Because Kenya is not just the three big communities. And now Isaac Ruto has come in at the end with his contribution to the nations that are forming NASA. When you have this to deal with, you have to break yourself down to show yourself as a national outfit. So they have a huge task ahead of them.
It's a full in tray for them.
I know. And for the time that they have left, it's a lot of ground to cover and win an election. It would be a miracle.
Thank you so much. Of course, we will be seeing how that goes. We'll be having you here more often as we take a look at some of the activities that will be undertaken, the groundwork, as you call it. Joy Brenda Mdivo is a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. And we wrap up the KTN News Desk on that note. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Akisa Wandera. Up next is Business Today, so don't go too far.